Okay, I think we'll start today's topic. I'm going to talk about one of the interesting topic, which is very much required for the youngsters. Those are trying to get jobs in the finance and accounting department. Nowadays, the competition is quite high, and each candidate comes with a unique character. So, as an interviewer, when we see the candidates, we always look for the important aspect, or you can say that what uniqueness the candidate is having, so that we recruit the candidate. So what I'm going to do today is that I'll be talking about few areas where as a candidate you can focus more about how to prepare for the interview. It is always good that you prepare well, then you leave it to the interviewer, because nothing is under your control, but yes, you should try your best to give what best you can give in the interview. Okay, so I'll start with how do you prepare for the interview, correct? So for example, if the interview is there tomorrow or maybe after 2 days, what you should do, how should you start preparing for the interview? The first question you should ask yourself is that why you have applied in this company, correct? Because when you would have gone through the JD, something would have attracted you, right? It's not that okay, I just blindly applied for that company. Now if you have applied, something has triggered in your mind that something is good in this company, some area where you feel that you can work in that, you can do better in that, right? So what you do is go through the complete JD of the company, what is published in the site, and understand that for each and every role and responsibility, what the company is expecting, do you have that quality? Do you have the strengths, or do you feel that there are some areas where you should develop on the weakness? So my suggestion is that please list down your strengths, go through the strengths, what strengths you have, and see that in the interview can you answer the questions which are relating to your strengths. Okay, and then you note down your weakness as well, and see that how well you can prepare on the weakness. You can read certain books, you can go through a lot of videos in the YouTube, and make yourself ready that okay, whatever there in the JD, at least you can answer those in the interview. One more important part is that go through the company website. For example, you are applying in XYZ company, always get into the company website and see that whether you are able to understand the business of the company, or go through that what type of products the company is having. Okay, go through the financials of the company. So this will give you more confidence about the company and understand that what the company does, so that tomorrow when you go for the interview, any question relating to the company you can answer very well. I would suggest that go through the latest news, about the company, so that you can answer any questions which are the recent development about the company. Align with your recruitment manager about the dates and the time when you need to join for the interview. If it is online, it's fine. You should be well prepared before going online. But if it is face-to-face interview, I would suggest that you go 30 minutes before, so that you relax at the office, be comfortable before you get into the interview. Now, question is, okay, you are ready, you are going to the office. Question is, how should be your attire? How should be your dressing sense? That is very, very important, because you are going to meet your interviewer for the first time, right? So when you're meeting for it first time, your first impression is how do you look? How do you present yourself in front of the interviewers? So my suggestion that whenever you're going for an interview, always be in formals. Okay. Later you can go through the dress policy of the company, change your dressing. But on the day of interview, I would suggest that please have formal dresses, formal shoes, and be more formal instead of having dresses or something which doesn't make you comfortable, not the interviewer. Okay. And I would suggest that if you're going like mid management or senior management role, then a blazer or a tie would be more benefit, because that give you more professional look and more confident as well. Avoid any strong perfumes, because okay, the perfume may be good for you, but not to the interviewers, or when you are in the closed room, it doesn't give a good environment to everyone. So a light perfume would be good enough, but a strong perfume or something highly dark color shirts like red color, high, dark yellow and all that, please avoid that. Light color dresses are more preferred. It gives a very calm situation in the room, so your dressing sense should be quite good enough. Now, when you go to the office, please ensure that don't take any heavy bag or some items with you, like bike helmets, and then once you get into the room, you start struggling. Where do you keep that? So I would suggest that if something you can keep at the reception, or you can ask the HR guy that where I can keep all these things. You can park it there. It's better. Or else, if you are coming inside the room with those items, please ensure that you keep it near to the wall of the cabin instead of just putting it on the table, because it doesn't give a comfortable to the interviewer as well that you are putting all your private items or things. You can carry your files. File is good that you can keep on the table. So if anything the interviewer asks and you want to show it, then you can easily pick out from the file and give it to the interviewer. Now, the most important part, how do you impress the interviewer? The first important part is the communication. Why communication is very important? Because your interviewer don't know who you are. He has only gone through your CV, right? Now he want to see that as a person, how you talk, how you express yourself, how you communicate, and how you demonstrate what knowledge you have. Okay. So when he start asking question, okay, ensure that your communication is very strong. Okay. Now, how do you ensure that your communication is strong? The first thing is that please hear the questions what he asks till the end of the sentence. Sometimes it happens that, okay, I know what is this, and I start answering, cutting him in between, saying that I know, I have worked in my previous company, I'll explain everything. That doesn't look good. So you have to wait till your interviewer completes the complete sentence, understand that whether he's asking any part of the question or asking something more about that. So hear him out fully and then start answering. Okay. And when you're answering, you should ensure that you answer it with short sentences, because people get bored when you start telling the complete summary, right? Because they will be thinking that, okay, when he stops the answer, so that I'll put the second question. So always ensure that your answer should be with short 1 to 2 sentence. If he asks that, okay, can you elaborate more or give some more examples, then please speak. But always ensure that you give a convincing answer, point to point, and it should be very short. In communication, there should be one more very important part, that is the eye contact. Okay. So when the interviewer is asking you, always ensure that you talk to him and your eyes should contact to his eyes. Okay. Because that is where the trust, it's very difficult to trust immediately a person, but when you have eye contact, then definitely a small amount of trust is created between the interviewer and the person, candidate. So please ensure that you talk directly to the interviewer and have a good eye contact. Now, sometimes it happens that you have 3 to 4 interviewers in the room, and one interviewer is asking you a question, and we always tend to answer only to that interviewer. That is not correct. Even though the question is asked by one interviewer, please ensure that you are looking into all the interviewers and answering it. So that gives a confidence to them that, okay, you are able to explain everyone, or you have a control on your voice, and you have strength on the public speaking as well, because you are talking to the complete forum, right? So that is very important. Keep a positive body language. Sometimes I have seen, when in my personal experience, when I have taken interview, people are nervous. They don't do contacts with the eyes. They start looking towards the roof. They start looking towards the table. Sometimes they shake their legs. Sometimes they start itching their head and ears. So if you're feeling uncomfortable, feeling a little bit nervous, take a deep breath. Think that you are coming for interview. It's nothing that is the last interview you are going to give in your life. You have to be confident that yes, you have the skill. That's the reason you are in the company. So if you have that skill, for what you are getting scared? Okay, there could be 2 3 questions you can't answer, but the questions which you know better, start answering in the right way. Convince the interviewer that you know better what he is expecting from you, right? So nothing to be nervous. Take big deep breath. If you want some amount of water to drink, you can ask the interviewer to give water and you can have that. But always keep in mind that you are the best candidate and you're going to do best in that day. So if you are having that confidence, definitely, right answers, right communication, and right way of presentation will come automatically if you're not nervous. Yeah, and one more point is that whenever any questions is asked to you, okay, never say that I don't know. Okay. Sometimes it happens that I don't know, very easily it comes out. But you can say that, yes, I know about it, but I am not able to elaborate more about that. Okay, there are certain areas where you have never read or you don't know about those topics. Then you can talk about that. Okay, I have never heard about that, or it is a new technology in the market. I have not gone through that, or this is something which is not there in my work profile in the past. You can tell openly, because more you are transparent is really good. But if something you have already studied in your CA course or something and you are not able to recall, please be upfrontly tell that, okay, I know I heard about these subjects, but yes, I'm not able to recall now. But I know about something, but I'm not clear. So that is okay, because more you are genuine and your answers are perfect, the interviewer will accept that okay, you are a genuine guy and you are able to say yes, no, or you are transparent and you are clear, right? Now I am going to talk about something do and don'ts. Very very important, because sometimes what happen as candidate, we always think that I did my interview very best and I don't know why I didn't get selected, right? Why? Write the work you have performed. Okay, very important part. I have seen in my interviews that people write a lot of things on the CV. Okay, they feel that if I write a lot of things, the interview will be happy and I have more chance to get selected. But in reality it is not. See, sometimes what happened, like for example, I have never worked on taxation. Okay. Now I write a lot of things that I know: direct tax, indirect tax, transfer pricing. Okay, the CV looks quite good. And it would have happened that the CV has been shortlisted because you have written these items in your CV. Now when the interviewer is trying to test you that whether you know these particular questions or areas or not, you will struggle to answer that. Then what happens? Then he understands that okay, you have tried to explain something more, which in reality is not correct. Correct. So that gives a trust issue. That gives a concern to the interview that am I selecting the right candidate? Okay, because you are not clear on your CV that what area you have worked. So he will have a trust issue, and the chances of getting through is very difficult. So always write what actually you have worked. Always write that what good experience you have in any particular area, and definitely the questions should be around that, and you can answer very well. Because if you copy something from your friend saying that my friend's got a job because he has written something specific in his CV, please don't copy it, because copy is easier. Your CV may be shortlisted, but not you, because you will fail in those areas when it is asked, right? So always be transparent that what area you have worked and what are the best area you have done, so that you can answer those. Few more things. I have also seen few interview in my interviews. Don't argue with your interviewers. Okay, I know sometimes it happens that in your past experience you would have done better good job, you would have earned good amount of experience in certain activities, but when the interviewer asks you and you give certain answers, sometimes some of the interviewer says that no, no, this is not correct. I think I'm not 100% satisfied with your answer. Don't start arguing, okay? Because the interviewer has his limit of experience. Maybe your answer may be correct, okay, or your experience may be better than the interviewer. But at that situation, when he's asking, he's in the top level, right? He is the person who is going to assess your knowledge. So if you feel that okay, certain things he's not having clarity, okay, you can just say that as per my experience, this is what I have learned. Maybe when I get opportunity in your organization, I will explore more. Maybe something in a positive way you can answer and close it. But don't argue saying that you are wrong or you have not learned about that, because the interview will never be happy that somebody is trying to teach him in the interview that what should be the right answer. So always avoid any type of arguments and any sarcastic point as well. Don't give any sarcastic view, okay? Because that also irritates the interviewer, saying that okay, if the person is giving sarcastic view now, what will happen when he joins my team? Then he will have all this type of communication which the team may not like it. Okay, so sarcastic view or argument. And don't show nervousness when you answer something. If you are confident, you have worked on those areas, you should not talk about any area where you are, you should not show, your body language should not show about nervousness. I talked 2 minutes before, but you have to ensure that when you talk confidently. One more point is, don't start talking about your salary to the interviewers. For salary, it is the HR guy. And if the manager asks about salary, then you can say that yes, this currently I'm getting this much salary. I will be happy to talk with the HR person. What is the budget and what is the market, standards. So try to avoid on the salary part with the interviewer, because sometimes it happens that the interviewer have something in mind and immediately can rejects you because of the salary. So you can politely say that yes, I'm happy with the market standards, but I would like to discuss this further with the HR team. So don't try to talk more about the salary with the interviewer. Definitely he and the HR will talk later about this matter. Now the most important part is that when you're going to face interview specifically for the finance and accounting, how do you prepare yourself? Which are the area you should read, understand, and you should go for the interview? I am going to explain something about my personal experience when I have taken interview. What are the things I've seen and where the candidates fail? Okay. So what happens? They don't go through the JD. They don't understand the profile. They just have applied by seeing the company name or by seeing the JD or by seeing the salary, whatever may be in the market, whatever is published, and they come and start talking about that I'm interested in the job. You give me an opportunity, I can do better. See, any candidate can come and say that I am interested and you give me an opportunity, right? But what I look into it that whether he fits to the team, whether he has the technical knowledge which will help the organization to grow, or whether he has that technical knowledge which can help the process to be improved, right? End of the day, we are recruiting a person because we expect that he delivers best out of best and he helps the other team members to learn as well, right? That is how learn and skill development happens within the team. So I'll give some tips now. If you are applying for R2R, or you can say general ledger team or report to record team, it is a very crucial team, right? This team is the backbone of the finance team because they are responsible for preparing the financial statement. They are responsible for doing the month-end closing. If you are working in an MNC company, then you have to push the data to the corporate headquarter, by the deadlines. So you are one of the important team member in the finance team. So when you are going to face this type of interviews, please ensure that you have some experience on the actual activities. Okay, unless you are a fresher. Now, if I have experience in P2P, that is procure to payment, and I have applied in R2R, okay, and if there is an interview and you are called, okay, obviously I'll be nervous that because I have experience on P2P, but I'm going for R2R now. So nothing to worry. If you are having the basic knowledge on month closing or about journal vouchers or about handling audits, please go well prepared and you can face the interview. It will be challenging because don't have the experience of artwork, but it will help you to provide good amount of answers, right? Now, if you're going to for artwork profile, what are the areas you should look into before you go and face the interview? The first area is month closing activities. Do you know what are the activities performed during month close? Okay, for example, preparation of financial statement, preparation of notes to accounts, then activities in the ERP, like revaluation of your vendors and customers, foreign vendors and customers. If you have a hedge accounting, then you have to do mark to market, inventory valuation. Okay. If your company is foreign standard cost, then you have to convert to FIFO or weighted average based on your company policy, right? Then fixed asset depreciation run. So these are a lot of activities are there which are performed at the month end. So when you're going to apply for R2R activity, definitely the interview is going to check if you have knowledge on the month closing activities, because that is what you're going to do every month, right? Next is, do you know how to handle audits, right? As after you will be responsible for handling statutory audits, internal audit, government audits. A lot of audits are there because you are the front person who is going to deal with auditors. Now if you don't have experience on dealing with auditors, or you don't know that what type of data you need to give to auditors, then getting selected in R2R is difficult, because the interviewer will always focus on you understanding that if you know that what are the areas you should prepare well for R2R activities. So handling audits. Another more important part is that how you are driving other departments. See, R2R is the main function. Now you have to support P2P, you have to support O2C. So ensure that you have give good amount of process understanding to those teams so that they ensure that they are following right way. And for R2R also, another area is IFC, internal financial control. You have to ensure that all the controls relating to your reporting areas are perfectly performed. So there could be few questions on the IFC area as well, correct? So you should know that what controls you should have, how the SOD is distributed, what are the areas the R2R team should do, what are the areas the P2P should do, team do, or O2C. Okay. Now I'll come to the second part, that is the P2P area. Procure to payment, very critical department because you deal with vendors, employees, and masters, a lot of things, right? So when you go for interview for P2P areas, please ensure that you are well prepared, specifically the PR to payment process. If you don't know that process, very difficult to handle that audit, because questions can come from purchase requisition, purchase order, IR, right? Your invoice receipts and processing, and the payment. You should have thorough knowledge about that, right? Second is how the payment run is done, okay? And third is the three-way match. Three-way match is very critical. How you match your PO with the invoice, okay? How you check the rates, how you check the quantity, okay? What is the meaning of GRN? These are the questions which are very regularly asked to the P2P team. Then they may ask about vendor master, right? What is the vendor master? What are the data maintained in the vendor master? which data can be altered, which data should be fixed, should not be altered. So they'll try to examine from that point of view. The more important part on the P2P part will be that they may ask more little bit on the technical side, like for example something is not matching, how do you handle that situation, right? So how do you talk to the procurement guy or buyer, or you talk to the business? They would like to see that during unusual situation how you are going to manage your process, right? That is what they will check on the P2P side. Another important part in P2P is that when you deal with foreign vendors, right, how do we account those foreign vendors? What is the TDS rules about that, right? How you make the payment for the foreign vendors? So all this process you should be very well have an understanding on that. Then you should have some knowledge on the GST as well, because P2P team will be responsible for GST. How do you take the credit? Okay, for taking credit, whether you pass entry directly to the credit account or you go through the clearing account. So all this understanding you should have, because when it comes to P2P, it is transaction related and you will be getting a lot of questions on the transaction part. Coming to O2C, O2C is very critical again, because you are dealing with the customer. So any payment received from the customer has to be accounted on time. So please ensure that your recording is perfect, right? Ensure that your application is correct. What is application? Application means if you have received money for 5 invoice, ensure that you are knocking off with the correct invoice. Otherwise, what will happen? If you do a wrong clearing, then you will be following up with the customer for the wrong invoice, right? So it is very much required that you clear it on time as well as clear it to the right invoice. And any TDS deducted or any amount deducted by the customer, ensure that that is recorded correctly. Otherwise, sometimes what happens that you are recording wrongly and it will be a problem. So these areas are very important, and the interview will be asking about those, that how do you record, how do you they may ask you what is the dunning process, how you do dunning process. Dunning means how you follow with the customers. Then they may ask you about provision for bad debt. Okay, what are the situation you may have that you create a provision, right? Nowadays, you can see you have IFRS 9 or India's 109, where they talk about expected credit loss, ECL. How do you determine ECL, right? What percentage do we applied in your past companies? How you have performed that? Because this is very critical under IFRS 9. So these are few questions which you will be getting it. So be well prepared. And then revaluation of foreign AR. If you have foreign AR, then how do you revalue at the month end or year end? That could be a question. So these are specifically, some specific questions which you should be very well prepared. There could be a few more questions also, but when you go any specific profile, then ensure that you are getting well prepared for that profile, and have some knowledge about the financial reporting as well. Okay, one more important part of O2C is revenue recognition. You have to understand that IFRS 15 or Index 115 is applied. How do you do the cutoff process at the month end? What process you follow to reverse the revenue if the risk and reward has not been transferred? So have a complete picture about that, even though it relates to the R2R activity, but as it is expected that the O2C person has the knowledge on those part also. Okay. Apart from that, if you're trying to join a treasury team, okay, treasury is very important for the CFO, and CFO expects that the funds are always available for any type of commitments. So please come well prepared. How to deal with banks? How do we fix the forex rates? If you're doing hedging, then how the hedging process happens? What type of hedgings are there, right? And how do you arrange funds with short time? What is working capital loan? How to deal with the bank for a good interest rate? So all these type of process you should understand, how to make foreign import payments, for example. So all this comes under the treasury function. Please ensure that you get well prepared. And if you're applying for taxation, definitely if it is direct tax, then ensure that you are well prepared for the direct tax areas. If you are indirect tax, then please do that. I have seen in personal life that people, those have knowledge in indirect tax, they apply for direct tax. I know people want to get into a company, but yes, please ensure that you apply for the right area. Now, the most important part is that, okay, you answered all your questions, the interview is finished with all the questions, and sometimes they end up asking you that, do you have any question? I have seen specifically that people say that, okay, the interview went very well, I don't have any question. But that doesn't impress the interviewer, because it's not possible that a person coming first time to the company and don't have any curiosity to know what we are doing, don't have curiosity to know what is the profile, or don't have curiosity to know more further than these 15-20 minutes what they discussed. So always have certain questions in mind, and these questions should be well prepared before you start the interview. Maybe one day before, you please list down what are the questions you have in your mind, and always place it when they ask you to talk. Don't start from the beginning of the interview that I have these questions. Okay, so when they give you opportunity to talk, start talking about that. Few questions which can be asked. As per my experience, I can tell you, ask for more clarity about the role. I know JD is there, but still ask for more clarity. Second, ask how you're fit in the role. That means with whom you're reporting, who will be your peer members, and what type of projects are there where you can lead or you can support. How the finance has the role in the company, you can ask about that. Okay. Sometimes finance is in the back end, sometimes finance in the front end. Okay. Then you can talk about financial statement. You can ask that, what is the revenue of the company, what are the growth of the company. Obviously not possible that interviewer can answer everything, but yes, that gives you clarity about what the company does, what is the amount of revenue it earns, or profit it earns. If you get answer, it's fine. Never ask about the salary part there. It doesn't look good. Salary should be talked only with the HR when they deal, or the recruitment team. So show your curiosity that you are keen to join the company and you are interested to know about the company further, for more details if something the interview has missed out. Okay. And then once the interview is over, definitely the interview may say you that, okay, we'll come back, and so you please uh, say thank you, and have a proper handshake. Okay. Always have a good smile in your face. That shows the confidence level what you have. And once the interview is over, you can thank and go back to your home. Few things you should not do, which I personally feel, people I have seen that once they go back, they start sending LinkedIn requests to the interviewer, or in Facebook or in social media. Please avoid that. It doesn't look good, because the interviewer will feel that, okay, for getting the job you're trying some other methods, which is not correct. Your talent should be the base for the recruitment, not any other way. You can do that later, not immediately once the interview is over. And then based on the follow-up time what they have mentioned you, please start talking to the HR team, recruitment team, and take follow. Okay. And if you feel that the things are not going the right direction, never get depressed saying that, okay, I did my best, it didn't happen. See, as a company there are a lot of criteria. It's not about the interview what you are given, the salary matching, the profile matching, your quality of communication. A lot of things are examined, and a right candidate is selected. So if you feel that, okay, I did my best and it didn't happen, never get depressed. I would suggest that God give you opportunity every time. So wait for the right opportunity. Whenever you get a good opportunity, please go and try your best. Okay, give your best. Be confident, and success is always there. Only thing is that you have to be in the positive mind, and skill development is very much required. I have seen people, those are CA qualified with 10 years, 11 years. They feel that they are qualified CA and they don't upskill their knowledge. And what happens when you don't upskill in the interview, when you face something which is very new, or new technology, or new automation, anything you take, then even though you are 10 to 12 year experience, you start getting nervous, because you feel that the interviewer is going to examine me or everything on the new areas which I have never experienced. So it is always good that develop your skill, understand what market is expecting, where is the market, what is the automation level, AI level, or you can say process development happening in the market. Sometimes what happens, we are in one organization for a longer time and we work around those processes, and you have a good understanding about that process. But if that process is outdated in another company, you can't go and talk about that process, because they will not like that process. Maybe that process that company would have applied 5, 10 years before, right? So if you're working in a company where the updation is not happening faster, then it's challenging for you. You may be in the comfort zone, but yes, the market will not accept you, because you are not updated what's happening in the market. So my suggestion that upskill yourself. That is how you can be confident in the interview, and you can do better. That's it from my side. If you have any questions, you can drop in questions in this video or in the chat box. And if any other video you want me to do, I'll definitely do it. Thank you for the time being. Good luck.